It's so important to keep that local going, to recycle that money throughout the community. And it makes your community tighter too. When you can get to know the restaurant owners the way you can with these small businesses, it's fantastic. It just really makes you feel good.
Right. And they need all the local support they can get. The restaurant business and small businesses, as I can attest, is a tough business. And I got a lot of respect for anybody that's ever done it, because I know how much work it is. And I know how many blood, sweat, and lots of tears go into building a small business. And a lot of these people are doing a great job here in Johnston County. They're employing Johnston County citizens and residents. That's just great. And, that's part of the reason I'm doing this podcast, is to try to let people know that you don't have to go to Raleigh for anything.
Welcome to another episode of Best of Johnston County, brought to you by Breeden Law Office. Our host, Jonathan Breeden, an experienced family lawyer with a deep connection to the community, is ready to take you on a journey through the area that he has called home for over 20 years. Whether it's a deep dive into the love locals have for the county or unraveling the complexities of family law, Best of Johnston County presents an authentic slice of this unique community.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Best of Johnston County Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Breeden, and today we have with us Melissa Dooley from the Dupree House in Smithfield. We're going to talk about what the Dupree House is, the events and activities that they have there at the Dupree House, how the Dupree House came to be the event venue that it is, and how it can help you throw the best party of your life at a very unique venue. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. So we'll start with, what's your background?
My background.
Yeah, where are you from?
Okay, I grew up in Pennsylvania, just north of Pittsburgh, in between Pittsburgh and Erie. So 19 years there.
Okay.
I did the world tour. We did Florida, then we did Memphis, then we did Currituck, Chesapeake. We did all over the place. So when we started having kids, we settled in Clayton. So in 2006.
Okay.
So been here since then, and it's been great. Johnston County has this unique way of just gathering you in and giving you a big hug and not letting you go. I've never experienced it in any other community ever. And so it's very unique, and I love it.
Oh, well, that's awesome. So what's your educational background?
I started out in life as a travel agent.
Well, hey, that's good.
Yeah.
We like travel agents.
Yeah.
I love travel agents.
I know. It was a lot of fun. And then 9/11 happened and cut that screeching halt. It came to an abrupt stop. The whole travel agency world changed. I started having babies. So when I got back into the workforce, I started out as a marketing assistant with DMG in Clayton.
Okay. I know DMG.
Yep. So I did that for a while. And then I got a job with the town of Selma. So I was their events coordinator for the town. And then I left there, went to Rocky Mount.
Okay.
And did some Chamber of Commerce work up there. And then that drive got old, and then came back and got the job with the Dupree House. So now I'm their events and marketing coordinator.
Okay, for the Dupree House. So you have lots of marketing in your background, it sounds like. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the Dupree House. I guess the first question is, what is it and where is it?
It's an old house. It's a 120-year-old house, and it used to be a private residence, and then they sold it to a person that made it into a day spa. So it was hair and nails and massages, and then from there, they sold it to Gabriella, who owns Chef Ella's, and she's in Clayton currently, but she had the lunch counter there for a while, and then COVID hit, and that restructured, and so now it's owned by JCAR, Johnston County Association of Realtors. And they rent out the space for events. So if you want to have a party and you don't want it at your house, you call me and you can have it at the Dupree House.
Well, that's cool. And the Dupree House is in downtown Smithfield.
Yes.
I think it's on 3rd Street.
Yes.
It's about 3 blocks from the courthouse.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful house. And downtown Smithfield is beautiful in general. And if you've not had a chance to drive by it or just drive down 3rd Street with the old houses, or even 1st Street over next to the river, or the old houses on 2nd and 3rd Street in downtown Smithfield, they are absolutely beautiful. A lot of very well kept yards in that world. And I used to go to the Dupree House and have lunch when it was Chef Ella's all the time, because I was always in the courthouse, and it had the best chicken salad in the world. Oh my goodness. It was so good. And it was a beautiful house. It had a lot of great meals there. Unfortunately, I've not been since COVID, but I guess Chef Ella's and everything with COVID went away. And so you were just telling me that Gabriella's now doing the catering out of Clayton, which is great. Very nice lady, tremendous cook, no doubt about it. So the Dupree House was restored, I guess, back to its original. It's about as original as any of these old houses get.
Right. It's not a historic marker. It's not been put on the historic places, which is a good thing for us because then we can renovate as we need. If it's historic, then you've got to go through this whole thing. But we have kept its integrity. So when you come into the house, you're like, oh, okay, it's chopped up. Here's the living room. Here's the kitchen. So that's what the old houses did. They did different rooms for different things.
Right. But it also has a huge back porch.
It does.
I mean,
our back deck
is huge.
Yeah, it is. And you can get married. You can have parties. We can have bands there. We have a pergola on one corner where people get married, have the officiant right there and have the audience facing them. So it's really picturesque. There's a fence all the way around and there's some screening with some trees and stuff. So you are secluded. You aren't really looking out into the neighbor's backyard. It's very nice. It's unique. I always invite people to come and look at the space because it's not a big open space like most event venues are, just big open. The Dupree House is not that. We hold 70 people, 70. So it is for smaller events. It's not for the big, huge celebrations. Yeah, and that's the way we like it. The smaller the better.
Right. The landscaping there looks like something out of a magazine.
Yeah.
I mean, who does that? Do you do that? Are you out there doing the gardening?
No, thank goodness we hire out. And honestly, I don't know who that is.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, I just find it fascinating. I don't know how they get all those flowers and azaleas to bloom, but there was clearly a design on this landscaping and there's a plan and somebody works very hard on it. It's just not Melissa.
No. I love digging in the dirt, but that's not me. No.
That's not you. So let's talk about some different types of events y'all have. You definitely have weddings.
Yes. We actually have not had a wedding there yet.
Oh, you've not had a wedding yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
When this airs, we will have had a vow renewal. We have graduation celebrations. We have baby showers and bridal showers, birthdays. But no, we've not hosted a wedding yet. So come on and get married at the Dupree House.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it would have to be a very small wedding, I guess, if you're capped at 70 people.
Yeah, it's this vow renewal that would have happened. It's a little bit smaller. And then the second weddings,
Second weddings, right.
Second weddings. We get a lot of requests for those.
Oh, that's cool. You also do corporate events.
Yes.
You have like a boardroom and stuff like that?
Yeah, we have a conference room upstairs that holds 15 people. So you can do trainings downstairs. You can do an all-day retreat. A lot of times, like team buildings, a lot of times the corporations want to go off-site because if they're at their office, the phone is ringing, they know they're there, they get interrupted, and they can't really do a good team building event. So to go off-site is better, and we can definitely host that. Absolutely. Yeah.
I got you. And you also charge people to come take photos there. I know photo shoots is a thing because you have all these beautiful flowers. You have this old house. It's painted beautifully. Yeah. I mean, it looks like something that would be great if you were getting prom pictures or engagement pictures or anything like that.
Exactly.
To me, it looks like it'd be a great place to get your picture taken.
It's a beautiful backdrop. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we would charge $50 an hour to do that, a 2-hour minimum. So $100. And you have the run of the place, inside, outside, upside down, all that stuff. So whatever you want to do, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you can bring any photographer you want.
Any photographer you want, yeah. And the only reason we charge is because I have to be there. Make sure that everything's good. If you need anything, I can get it for you. If you want this, that, and the other. So, yeah.
So how many people come get their picture taken there?
So far, we've had proms.
Yeah.
We've had the engagement photos.
Okay.
Yeah. And we also trying to entice for quinceañeras. They like to have their big dresses with the big antebellum homes,
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm trying to tap into that market. So we haven't hit it yet, but I think I will after this.
Okay, well, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. But I mean, I guess with changes in ownerships and business models, how long has it been this sort of event venue to the Dupree House? Because I mean, Chef Fellas wasn't really doing events. It was more like a restaurant. But you're not doing a restaurant. You're doing events. Exactly. So explain how that came to be.
Honestly, they've just started. It's only been like maybe a year and a half that they've opened it up to events. J. Carr saw it. They needed a headquarters for the realtor business. And so then they saw this big, huge opportunity because they have all this empty space. What are we going to do with it? So that's when they decided to rent it out and do events there. So that's how that came about.
I got you. Well, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So do you work for the realtors, or you work for a different person who rents the space from them?
I work essentially for the realtor, J-Car.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right. I did not know that. That's interesting. So the executive director there is Bonnie?
White.
Right. I've met her a couple of times. Is she an event person, or is she the realtor person, or is she kind of, here you're in charge of the realty group, and by the way, here's an event venue?
No, she's definitely J-Car. She's got it going on as far as that goes. She's fantastic. She really advocates for the realtors. And she hired me to do the events because she doesn't want to do them. She doesn't want anything to do with them. And she says, you're perfect for this, so here you go.
Okay. Oh, that's great. So how long have you been doing the events there with the Dupree House?
The Dupree House since October 23.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I've been doing events for 5 years in Selma. I worked there for a long time. And then, like I said, I was in Rocky Mount with the chamber there, and I did events there. So I do a lot of those. I love that. You know, the devil's in the detail with the events. And once you have one under your belt, you know your checklist to go through, and you just get it done.
Yeah. So you'd be the first event planner we've had on this podcast.
Oh, okay.
So I'm always fascinated to learn about things. So what is the biggest mistake people make in event planning, whether it be professional planners or amateur planners?
Amateur planners, of course, miss a lot of stuff. Like I said earlier, it's the devil is in the details. You have got to make sure your timeline is done. You've got to make sure your list of supplies is done. You've got to make sure that you've got everything there, because if you need a light and you forgot to order the light, now what do you do?
Right.
So the only thing you can't control is the weather. But I've got a direct line. You got to order it early to get the good guy upstairs.
Give you the good weather, right?
Exactly. So, but that's it. You got to make lists, and you got to check through them. You got to be on it.
Well, what are the top 5 things that need to be on an event planner's checklist?
The top 5 things. One is to make sure the event venue is clean and ready to accept you. The next one would be, does everybody know when they're supposed to be there?
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And the third thing would be probably parking. You know, that's always an issue. Our venue itself is a downtown one, so people want to park in front of the neighbor's driveway. Well, you can't do that. They're not happy when they come out of their house and need to go grocery shopping, and you're in their way. So that's number 3. Number 4 would probably be your vendors, like your caterer, your flowers, your cake, all of those. Is that lined up? Do they have the right date? Do they have the right time? And then the last one is to tip your event planner. Make sure she is taken care of.
Okay. I mean, that seems reasonable. I mean, tip the event planner. I mean, it's a ton of work. And the good ones make it look easy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I don't think you realize quite how hard it is to pull these things off. They're worth every penny you pay them for the heartache of you not having to do it. Exactly. That's for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess you're not cooking meals there now. Chef Fellas is not there. So whenever y'all are doing an event, who are y'all using for some of the food?
Well, mostly we call soda sopa. We put it out there to other caterers that are on our list. And mostly soda sopa comes through. They have it going on. They've got a great system going. We would love, if you're a caterer and you're watching this, we would contact me. We would love to get you on our preferred list. Just let me know.
Yeah, and Soda Spa is a restaurant in downtown Smithfield, right there. It's 1 block from the courthouse. Another place I've been to eat because I go to the courthouse. I'm kind of like a downtown Smithfield eating expert because I'm going to lunch, when I'm at the courthouse. And the restaurant itself is New Orleans style, kind of Southern cuisine. I mean,
they're known for the smoked meats,
right,
and the Southern, definitely Southern. It's good stuff.
And the cornbread. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Don't get me started on that.
Pig cakes, or what do they call those? I don't know. Pig cakes, I think they call them, but they're good.
So if you're listening to this, you're looking for another restaurant to try here in Johnston County, I would love to have you visit their location there on 3rd Street down in Smithfield, right across from the Howell Theater, which is for sale.
I know.
I don't know who's going to buy it, and I don't know if it's going to remain a theater or it might be turned into office space. So I don't want to buy it. I don't have the money to buy it, but I am fascinated as to what's going to happen because it's such a critical part of that block in Smithfield, and it's been there for so long. And the family memories of going to the Howell Theater and the dollar popcorn, and you can't get dollar popcorn anywhere anymore.
Of course, Ava, the most famous person that was there, Ava Gardner.
Right, at the Ava Gardner Museum. Yeah, and of course, that's a fascinating place. If you've not been to the Ava Gardner Museum, and I didn't know much about Ava Gardner before I moved to Johnston County, but I've been to the museum and the grave in Smithfield. Yeah, it was really a fascinating. The dresses and the different movies she was in.
67 movies.
I mean, it was crazy, right?
Is crazy.
And she lived her last few years of her life in London, and just a very interesting.
Check it out.
Right?
Yeah.
No, you check that out. Another thing in downtown Smithfield, the Johnston County Heritage Museum is in downtown Smithfield. Another great place to go sort of learn about Johnston County and the railroad and the river and everything. I mean, it's just sort of really fascinating as well. A lot of great things in downtown Smithfield. I know we had Chris Johnson on. He has a business there, Jules, in downtown Smithfield. He used to be the head of the Downtown Smithfield Development Association. We also had Donald O'Meara on a few episodes ago. His office is there in downtown Smithfield, right across. He's a realtor, but he's on that board. Of course, they do the Ham and Yam Festival, which is always the first weekend in May. So anyway, yeah, a lot of stuff going on in Smithfield. If you've not been down there, I would highly encourage you to go. There's tons of great restaurants and things to do in downtown Smithfield. So if I helps y'all do some of the catering, who do y'all like to use for the flowers?
That's a whole nother thing. That's up to the person that's renting.
Okay.
So, yeah, we have fake flowers that we can use to put on our tables. But as far as the florist goes, that's up to the person.
I got you.
Nobody special there. Yeah.
Right. Y'all also are doing brunches. I know you're going to do a Mother's Day brunch. This episode will not air before Mother's Day. But what other types of special things are y'all going to do throughout the year?
So we had a Barbie and Me tea. It was for 3 to 6 year old girls to come with their Barbies and drink tea. Oh, we had so much fun. And then we did an Easter egg hunt. And now we're doing the Mother's Day brunch happened. And so in the summer, it's going to be a little bit, because people are on vacation. They don't really look to do stuff in their own town. They look to vacation. It won't kick up again until fall. And we're going to do a trunk or treat. Will happen in October and probably something in September. Not sure what, but we'll think of something. If anybody has any ideas, let me know.
Okay, I got you.
And then we'll do an ugly sweater contest.
Oh, okay, an ugly sweater contest. All right.
Yep, ugly sweater party contest, yes.
Okay,
in
Christmas.
December.
That sounds like fun. And I know you're going to try out a concert series in May. Yeah. This probably won't, maybe not run before that concert. I guess the last one scheduled right now is June 2nd. Yes. So this may not run before that. But is that something, if it's successful, you may continue into the future? Exactly, yeah. Tell them what your plan is and what you might be doing.
Okay, so we're starting out with 4 dates, April 28th, May 5th, May 19th, and June the 2nd. If they turn out good and we get a lot of feedback, they go, hey, keep doing this, then we will. We'll extend it over through July and August.
So what's the concept?
The concept, just come to the Dupree House, chill out on a Sunday afternoon, because it'll be from 2 to 5 on a Sunday. It'll be either a soloist or a duet. We've got Bluefish J, we've got Amy J, we've got Sheila Castellet, and we've got Zach Burris. So those are the types of acts that we like. Somebody that can stand alone and do a variety of music. And it just basically is to do something on a Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it'll be music.
Yeah.
You're going to have food?
Yeah. We'll have snacks. We'll have mini charcuterie boards, and we'll have snacks. We'll have popcorn, peanuts, and then you can do wine and beer.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is there a cost of entry, or you just buy what you want to drink?
Yep, just buy. It's a cash bar. So buy what you want to drink, and we'll see if it works. If it works, we'll keep going. But if it's not and it's fizzling out, then we'll just try something else.
Well, so anybody listening to this will definitely need to check back at y'all's website, the DupreeHouse.com, right, to see about, the events coming up, including future brunches like Mother's Day, and to see if the concert series is going to continue in to July and August after its initial run there in May and early June. Yeah. What other ideas do you have? I know you're sort of new at this. You've been on the job a few months. Yeah. Any other ideas that you might be doing there at the Dupree House in the future? I mean, the sky's the limit. Such a beautiful place and a very unique place. And you can do a lot of different things, particularly with that backyard and the big porch or the deck, not really a porch, but deck. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, my job is to activate it. My job is to let people know that it's now an event space, because they keep remembering that it used to be a lunch counter or the day spa. So I have to change their mind, to introduce them to what we're doing to it now. And so I'm trying to activate the space. I'm just trying to get people there, because the more people that know about it, the more people that come, the more that we can get this going and really take off with the events and stuff. That's what they hired me for.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Have family law questions? Need guidance to navigate legal challenges? The compassionate team at Breeden Law Office is here to help. Visit us at www.breedenfirm.com for practical advice, resources, or to book a consultation. Remember, when life gets messy, you don't have to face it alone.
Well, you lived in Johnston County for 18 years now. What are some of your favorite restaurants? I love to ask people
Oh,
this.
my Lord.
And I always learn something new. I mean, every time I ask this question, I learn a restaurant, I write it down, and I got to go visit.
Okay, so I just discovered this one place. It's Selma Mini Mart on Anderson Street. So if you're coming on 301 and you're going into Selma, you take a left on Anderson, you go all the way down.
Okay.
They have what they call hibachi fries. It's their best seller. It is a pile of fries. And they put some cheese on there. They put white sauce and they put some kind of sauce that just addicting.
All right.
And then they put steak and chicken and you can add shrimp. So this thing, I'm not kidding. It can feed probably 4 people.
Oh my goodness.
And
okay.
It is so good. It is so good.
Selma Mini Mart. Okay.
Selma Mini Mart.
So it's not a restaurant. It's in the Mini Mart, like in the food court.
It is like it's a greasy spoon kind of place.
Okay.
You know.
I got you.
And he gets people from all over. He got people from out of state that saw him on Facebook, and they're coming down for these hibachi fries.
Okay.
Let me tell you, my mouth is watering.
Oh
It's
my goodness.
incredible.
That's awesome. I've never heard of that.
So that's a hole in the wall.
Okay.
That's a secret. And
All right.
then the other secret is Mama Nam's in
Okay.
Selma. Those are my 2 favorites.
All right.
in
Where's that
Johnston
at
County.
in Selma?
In Selma, it's on the corner of Rayford and Anderson.
What do they serve?
They're soul food. And
Okay.
yeah, he's got his soul food egg roll things that he has, and his collards and his pimento cheese. Oh my goodness. Yes. So
Okay.
if you like soul food, Mama Nem's is your place.
I got you. I got you. And for those of you who are not familiar with Selma, Rayford and
Yeah.
Anderson, these are some of the main streets
Yes.
in downtown,
Selma.
right over the railroad track. Selma, not that big a place. So
Yeah.
she's talking about it right there in downtown.
Yep.
And these are easy to follow. I'm hoping that we'll have the mayor of Selma on here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So those of y'all listening, keep listening. We're hoping to get him on. But there's a lot of great things going on in Selma right now
Oh
as
my
well
gosh, yeah.
with the antiques. They
Yeah.
now have the ice cream place.
Yes. The vault has just opened up. Quantum Toad just opened up. So you're getting these people that come in and they invest. They don't buy just one building. They're buying 3 and 4
they
buildings.
buy right.
And
Yes.
so they're refurbishing them, they're repurposing them. Selma's going through a renaissance. It's fantastic. If you haven't been in a while, you need to go because this place is happening.
Well, and it's not a coincidence that the downtown is getting the development as you see what Adventure Development is doing with North State Food Hall, which is also Selma. People don't realize that, but the North State Food Hall, that is Selma, along with that entire development. The Hobby Lobby is under construction, the Target, lots more retail, Five Below, all of that's coming to Selma as well. They're at exit 97, right there off of I-95. If you've not been to the North State Food Hall, they have every vendor there. All 10 or 11 of them are phenomenal. The vendors are changing. They're always changing the menu. They just hired Colleen Roby, who used to own Simple Twist, to be the new general manager there. Excited about what she'll do. I mean, we know what a phenomenal restaurant or person she is and how great Simple Twist was when she owned it. Selma is not the Selma of 20 years ago. And I think people need to recognize that in Johnston County. It's becoming a little bit of a foodie place, just like we talked about Soda So Spot. Like there's so many of these places that are just as good as any place you'd ever go in Raleigh. And they're right here in Johnston County. They're locally owned. They have local employees. Most of them are locally sourcing what they're serving now.
It's so important to keep that local going, to recycle that money throughout the community. And it makes your community tighter too. When you can get to know the restaurant owners the way you can with these small businesses, it's fantastic. It just really makes you feel good.
And they would provide they need all the local support they can get. The restaurant business and small businesses, as I can attest, is a tough business. And I got a lot of respect for anybody that's ever done it because I know how much work it is. And I know how many blood, sweat, and lots of tears go into building a small business. And a lot of these people are doing a great job here in Johnston County. They're employing Johnston County citizens and residents. That's just great. And, that's part of the reason I'm doing this podcast is to try to let people know that you don't have to go to Raleigh for anything,
No.
right? I mean, you got to go there maybe for work, but like everything else that you could want to have
And
is in
probably
Johnston
not-
County.
Yeah, probably not even work.
All the new jobs and the
Yeah.
industries coming here and the
Absolutely.
expansion. The new Amazon is now open
Oh.
right there on 70 in Smithfield. So that's great. The last question we always ask everybody on this podcast, know what's coming. What do you love most about Johnston County?
I mentioned earlier just the feel of the sense of community, how they just bring you in and they don't let you go. And the fact that pretty much everybody knows everybody, you know. They talk about that 6 degrees of separation is definitely here, you know. So that's what it is. It's that small town feel. And to feel a part of it. I have been a part of other communities that just don't have that. And it's a blessing when you have it. Yeah, it really is.
And you know, and that's, you know, we're 27, 28, 29 episodes into this.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody says. And that's what I think, you know, and it's one of the reasons we started the podcast is because it is about the people. And it's a way to spotlight the people and their businesses and to educate the public about that there's all this great things in Johnston County and you don't have to go to Wake County for anything.
No.
And you can stay right here and sort of, as Chris Johnson always talks about, turn those cars around.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep them here in Johnston County, shopping local, supporting local business.
Yeah. And well, thank you for doing this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming in.
It takes time and money for you to do it, and we appreciate that. And it's educating and it's letting people know what's going on.
Right. So if people want to reach out to you at the Dupree House, how would they find out? How would they book something like we talked about? What do they do?
TheDupreeHouse.com is our website. Events at the Dupree House is my email address.
Okay.
And the phone number 984-285-5877.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank Melissa for coming on and being with us here today on the Best of Johnston County podcast. If this is your first time listening, please like, subscribe, or follow our podcast wherever you're seeing this, whether it be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or any of our other social media channels so that you'll be aware of all future episodes of the Best of Johnston County podcast. The Best of Johnston County podcast comes out every Monday, so be listening for future episodes. And if you like, follow, and subscribe, you'll be notified every Monday when the new episodes come out. If this is your first time listening, go back and listen to some of the previous episodes of the Best of Johnston County podcast. We've had a lot of really interesting guests, including Patrick Harris, Johnston County Commissioner, Chris Johnson, Johnston County Economic Development Director, Adrian O'Neill, Johnston County Parks and Rec Director. We had Woody Bailey of Woody's Computing talking about local IT services, Chris Key talking about mistakes he sees young families make in financial planning. Tim Sims talked about things you can do to better your mouth and dentistry. Lots of educational stuff if you go back and listen to the previous episodes of the Best of Johnston County podcast. And if you would like or subscribe like we've asked, but also if you'd do us a favor of leaving us a 5-star review wherever you're seeing this podcast, it will help our visibility so future people will know more about the Best of Johnston County podcast and they can find it and learn to listen to it just like you're listening to it today. So until next time, I'm your host, Jonathan Breeden. Thanks a lot.
That's the end of today's episode of Best of Johnston County, a show brought to you by the trusted team at Breeden Law Office. We thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to sharing more interesting facets of this community next week. Every story, every viewpoint adds another thread to the rich tapestry of Johnston County. If the legal aspects highlighted raise some questions, help is just around the corner at www.breedenfirm.com.